Hello again. You thought you were done with us for bowl season. Nope, we got one more. Welcome to the heading back to the window crew as we're taking a look at bowl game number 41 on your schedule. I'm your host, Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com, and I am joined for the very last time this bowl season by the one, the only. He is
Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
And together we do a show each and every day, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. It's called Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. Make sure you check that out. We do it in real time. We do it live. We interact with you, taking questions about games you're looking at for that particular day and sharing our thoughts on our best plays, including the one, the only, soon-to-be nationally famous Bet the Farm pick that we unload each and every day. And we have been... Well, I don't want to pat myself on the back here, Scott, but we have been hotter than a firecracker on our Bet the Farm plays over the last month. So do check our show out if you get the opportunity. And, of course, I want to tell you about an exciting opportunity that we have teaming up with our brand new partners, Caesars Sports Book. They're in New York now, buddy. Are you pretty excited about that? We're recording this on Saturday. It's the first day of legal betting, sort of, in the state of New York.
Yeah, definitely feels great, especially when they give you a free $1,000 basically to wager because of the risk-free bonus that they have. But I'm excited, of course, now I don't have to wait about using, let's just say, some shady people to potentially, get some bets in. I still have them in case I need them on the back burner, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
And that's the thing, man. And you've got Caesars lined up. They don't get more reputable, man. Caesars has been around forever. They're now in New York. But this is a special for everybody, for first-time sign-uppers, if you will. They give you pretty much a match bet, Scott, up to $1,001. It is a risk-free opportunity for you to jump in, get your feet wet for first-time depositors. So if you are in one of those states that has the fantastic Caesar Sportsbook, just simply download their app, open that up, or go to the website, check that out. The key that you want to put in is video winners, all one word, video winners. Put that in. You'll be immediately hooked up with your 1,001 free bet. Take a shot at it. Of course, you must be eligible in your state, and you must be 21 to play. So, got a few people in the comment section here stopping by to say hey to Ryan Page. IUPUI under is looking great. No jinx, but yeah, we like the way that's checking. Brandon Kubas is stuck in LA traffic. Got the notification you're on. Perfect time. We did it all for you, buddy. We knew you're. What are you out there on the 405? You're on the 10. What are you stuck in? Are you in the canyon? God, don't be in the canyon. You'll lose us. We count money over here. Yeah, he is. That's what we're doing. AJS. Scott, did you put your $1,000 in New York yet? You put your $1,000 bet in yet?
I did not officially place the bet yet, but I do have some options I'm keeping in mind. I definitely am going to use the promo. I can't say I've used it fully yet. I've been trying to get situated in other books. PayPal is giving me a problem. I was trying to figure some stuff out this morning.
There you go. Yeah, you've been live now for what, 4 hours, 5 hours?
Yeah, give or take. Well, that's when we went live. You got to also factor in when I woke up. So that's also a separate point that you might not have factored in.
Good point. Just for the record, Scott, Brandon Kubas, he's stuck on the 5. They're all great highways.
They're great when nobody's on them.
I know I've told you this story before. I lived out there for 2 years, and I would go months without taking any surface streets. Without taking any highways, just all surface streets. Fucking half an hour, it didn't matter because you were just, no matter what time of day, you're gonna be.
Well, once again, that goes back to the celebrities over there that would take helicopters because the traffic was so bad they would travel through the air.
This may surprise you, Scott. I never took a helicopter in LA. Never. No.
I didn't in LA. I took a helicopter one time in Dominican Republic.
Did you really?
I did. It was fun.
Were you actually just taking a ride for a thing, or were you going somewhere?
No, I think they no, just for fun.
Okay, cool. All right, very good. Well, like we said, this is our last bowl preview show. This is an unofficial bowl. It's the National Championship Bowl. I guess that's not really a thing, but it is bowl number 41 in your program. Georgia, Alabama. Scott, I think I speak for most of America when I say...
Didn't we just have this?
I didn't really want to see these teams in the game, but I think most of America would have to begrudgingly admit these are the two best teams in the country. Any question about it?
No. They're clearly the best two teams in the country. It's not really close. You can have an argument on who the third best team in the country is.
Right.
But the first two are set in stone.
It's like Larry Bird walking into the locker room and says, "Which one of you is going to finish second in the 3-point shooting contest?"
Pretty much.
It's very, very similar to that. So the question is, the SEC championship game, Alabama was up against the wall. That was a win and you're in kind of game, lose and you're out. And like the game before it, when they played Scott, that one ended 41-24 with Alabama picking up a dominating win. This one, the spread is Georgia favored by 2.5. Totals 52.5. Total for the SEC championship game, by the way, was 48. So let's start a little bit different. Is that an overreaction on the total based on what Alabama did in the SEC championship game? 4.5 points. Is that too strong?
I would say it is, because you have to remember most of the heavy lifting happened in the first half by Bama's offense. Of course, Williams went nuts. He had a bunch of yards, and Bryce Young looked very good. But once Mechie got injured right before half, Bama really didn't do much in the second half. Now, did they need to? No. So I'm sure some of it was milking the clock, trying to actually keep the lead and not do anything stupid. But it is worth mentioning that without Mechie in the lineup, Bama's looked mediocre offensively. They didn't really do much against Cincinnati either.
Not a ton. Not a ton. Mechie had, like you said, 6 passes, 97 yards, touchdown in that conference title game, but he was injured early in that. He was dominant there when he was in. James says North Dakota State, easy money. And we were talking before the show started, Scott. Money actually came in last minute on Montana State. I don't know what country they live in that they're like, hey, you know who we'd like to fade in the national championship game? The Bison. They're only 8-0, so I want to get on the other side of that. No, yeah, you're right, James. Easy money. So, so do you think does that give us a different outcome then? Are you liking the under there, or is that kind of the point you're setting up?
I'm looking at the under. And it's mainly because even though Georgia's defense was awful in the first half against Bama, there's really no other way around it. You have obviously seen throughout the rest of the season that this Georgia team, when they're on, or even when they're not just dreadful, like they were in the first half against Bama, they can hold you to without a touchdown for a quarter, minimum, 2 quarters. I mean, this defense is nuts. And Bama's defense has been very good for the last couple of weeks. I still think that while people are focusing on Bryce Young and how good the offense has been, the defense has been fantastic for about the last month and change. So I think you'll see a defensive struggle. I think you'll see adjustments made. And I do think that the battle's going to be between Bama's offensive line and Georgia's defensive line. And Bama's offensive line dominated the early portion of the game. But as the game went on, Georgia's defensive line started to actually get some penetration. I think you'll see that happen again. So I do think that you'll see a lower scoring game, a very tight game. I see this game finishing somewhere around, I would say, close to 24-20.
Okay.
So I like the under.
All right. So is this a great opportunity to correlate your plays? In other words, if you think Georgia is going to win, does Georgia win a shootout? And conversely, if you think Alabama is going to win, does Alabama win a rock fight? I think it's a great opportunity, no matter which side you're on, to correlate your pick with a total. You agree with that?
I think you could, but I think it's also tricky because Georgia's offense looked really good against Michigan, but it was a battle of the fronts, and Georgia's offensive line completely destroyed Michigan's defensive line. That did not happen when these teams played in the SEC title game. If you want to try to find a correlation, you can. I'm really not feeling a correlated parlay in this game. Maybe not as much as you are. But if you're asking me for the actual total, I would lean under, because I do think that Bama's offense is significantly less explosive without Mechie in the lineup as the safety valve. Williams kind of embraced part of that role against Cincinnati, but you really didn't see that many big plays from Bama in the passing game against Cincinnati. That was calculated because Cincinnati's secondary is very good and they ran the ball extremely well. But I am expecting more of a grind for Alabama's offense in this matchup. And Bennett, I think he's going to struggle again against Alabama's defense. I think he'll look better the second time around. I still don't think he's great, but I do see a lower scoring game than what we saw in the SEC title game.
Now, you did touch briefly on it, Alabama's defense, and it's completely overshadowed in the SEC by this fantastic historical Georgia defense. But Alabama, again, playing in the SEC, probably playing in the without question, playing in the toughest division of all of college football. They're sixth nationally in yards per play as far as their defense goes, and they're 13th in scoring. So they are, while they're not to the extreme heights that the Georgia defense is, that, like you said, is a very, very solid unit. You know, I would counter when you're talking about Alabama scoring just 10 points in the second half of that game.
Some of it
I
was
would
game flow, but I'm mentioning it.
that's was kind of the point that I was going to make. You know, as far as this game goes, do you think Slick Nick held some stuff back in that Cincinnati game? Do you think he saw how that game was going and said, you know what, I don't need to bring out the second box of weapons. I'm fine with the first box.
I think you can make that case. I do think that matchup wise, first drive of the game, Bama ran it down their throat, immediately scored a touchdown, and you could tell, oh, Robinson's going for 200. Why bother throwing the ball? I think it was a mix of both because really didn't see many openings for Alabama's receiving core. I know Bolden had a couple of catches. Williams, of course, was still pretty good, not amazing by any means, but I do think that he might have held a little bit back because of game flow and because as long as Bama didn't shoot themselves in the foot, arguably 7 times, they were going to win the game anyway, because Cincinnati might have needed 8 quarters to score a touchdown in that game.
Let me tell you,
But
if you can shoot yourself in the foot 7 times, you're a stud.
and Bama still might have won. Georgia was not Georgia, sorry. Cincinnati really had no shot. They
Yeah.
almost covered, kinda. Not really. They couldn't do anything offensively the entire game. But I do think that he might have held a little bit back, but some of it was matchup based, and Georgia's secondary is pretty good. I know it got torched by Williams the first time. Now you don't have to worry about Mechie. I do think you'll give Williams more than enough attention in this one, but I expect a lower scoring game. You?
Well, let's check in on the comment section here, see how everybody is where they're putting their money on Monday night. James, after betting the farm on North Dakota, he's on Bama. He's on the traditional favorite, much as he was in the FCS game. Zach Vaughn says Georgia wins 24-17. We count money.
I said 24-20, but close enough.
Okay. We count money over here. Says Alabama money line in the under. So he's more in your camp as far as being non-correlated.
I like the idea by Rick. I mean, Rick mentioned the idea of Georgia winning by 1 to 13 points if you want to go for a prop.
Yep.
Plus 140.
Yep.
I think it's going to be close. I think we can agree whether Bama wins or whether Georgia wins. I'm not expecting a one-sided affair. I think these teams are close. Bama just seemed to, I don't want to say want it more because that's a classic cliche, but Bama isn't as strong as they were in the SEC title game because you're missing your second best wide receiver. So I do think the offense will look a little bit weaker than what we saw early on. I'm not going to overreact to what happened in the first game and assume history is going to repeat itself. I expect a very close game. I expect a grind, but I'm in a tough spot because I had Georgia in the SEC title game. We both did. That didn't work out. But it's a situation where I think it's pretty telling that Georgia's favored again, even though they lost handily the first time they played. I think it's pretty telling.
Okay. You think the odds makers are telling us Georgia's due?
I think the odds makers are telling us Georgia's the better team, and they're daring the public to take Bama. But then again, fool me once, shame on me. Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. If I fade Saban twice against the same team and I lose twice, I'm really going to feel like an idiot. But based on what I've seen from the line movement and what I've seen from the actual price itself, I really do think Bama's a trap line. I'm going with Georgia.
All right. Real quick, you want to take a look at this Memphis game? James wants to know what we think about Memphis, and somebody asked us about Nicholls State too. I don't know a lot. I know Nicholls State's been playing good basketball lately. If I was going to do anything there, I'd play the over. That's what I would do with Nicholls State.
It's about the Memphis game now or the Clippers game? Starts in like 10 minutes, but
I'm assuming he's Clippers, yeah.
Looks like Memphis is missing some guys. Of course, Morant's not playing. You're missing Adams. You're missing Anderson. The lineup is still not terrible. You got Tyus Jones, Bain, Brooks, Tilley, and Jackson. I still like Memphis. I think that we saw without Morant, this Grizzlies team is still pretty good. And I don't think the Clippers are any good. So I still like the Grizzlies, but that's just me.
All right.
I don't mind the under in that game, though.
So I do want to give you the breakdown as of about an hour ago. Public pounding Alabama, Scott. 74,
Really? The public's on Saban. I can't believe it.
74% of the bets on Alabama, 26 on Georgia. You want to guess how much of the money's being wagered on Georgia?
Well, the percentage is 26% of the bets.
Yep.
64.
78.
Okay, I was close.
It doesn't get more pros versus Joes than this game, according to what's been wagered. Mattress Mac, he's on Alabama, buddy. 1.2.
Of course he is. He hasn't won a bet since he won the championship like 6 years ago.
I got to tell you, I was feeling good. The over 9-1 the last 10 meetings, 4-0 in the last 4. And as everybody who talks about this game this week is contractually obligated to do, I will tell you that the Tide has been an underdog 3 times in the last 13 seasons, 181 games. 2009 SEC championship game, they win by 19 against Florida. 2015 regular season game against Georgia, they win by 28. Last month's SEC title game against Georgia, they win by 17. So
don't get me wrong, Saban can easily prove me wrong again. Wouldn't be the first time. It happened a couple weeks ago. But you mentioned the pros versus Joes splits. I will always try to be on the side of the Joes in this situation. And I think it's pretty telling that after Bama won by 20-plus points...
I think you misspoke.
What do you mean?
I think you want to be on the side of the pros.
What did I say?
The Joes.
Sorry, I want to be on the side of the pros. My bad.
No problem.
The point is that I try to always side myself against the public in these type of split situations.
Yep.
But it's just a matter of principle. Because Bama was favored by 3 when the line opened up. This line moved about 6 points. I mean, that's wild.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Georgia.
All right. Fair enough. And the total? You're going under?
I'm going under. Which is a bit of a hot take, but I'm going under.
Okay.
You? They're going, wait, you can't do Bama or the under?
I can't do either one of those.
Okay, so we're just fading each other here?
Yep. Saban, I can't get past the Saban stuff, man. Saban,
I don't blame you.
25-1 against his former assistants.
Kirby's never beaten him.
Nobody's ever beat Jimbo Fisher beat him. That's it. That's the end of the list.
Nobody this year.
What's that? Yeah,
it happened this year.
Yeah, it did. Didn't happen in the SEC championship game though. I can't do it. I know Mechie's very important to this team, but I was surprised how exposed that secondary was the last time they played. I don't know that you can fix that schematically, and I think if you do, you leave yourself vulnerable against the run. I think they've got I think they've got 2 things to close off in Alabama. I'm not sure they can do it. I don't mind the big uglies up front. Alabama's always going to have top flight talent on the offensive line. I think they'll do enough. I've got to go with the trends here, bud. I know that's where the public is. I know that's where Mattress Mac is. I hate both of those things, believe me. But when I look at this Alabama team, I look at Saban getting points. I won't respect myself in the morning if I don't take the points with Alabama. I will feel like
viewing it the other way. I won't respect myself knowing that there's been so much sharp money on Georgia, and I'm just going against it anyway. I feel like you can make an argument both sides.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. And I feel like they're correlated. I feel I would probably even consider putting a small play, a small evener on Georgia in the under, just to kind of hedge. So
if I was going to make a correlated parlay, which once again I'm not doing, if you like Bama, I'd lean to the over.
Right. Absolutely. Mac's been losing. I know, AJ. I know. Mac has been terrible.
So when you say he's been losing, has he really won anything besides the one Astros championship bet? Has he won anything else?
The only one I remember.
So one I remember too. Made a lot of money, but I'm just saying, when I can't say that he was ever on a heater if he won one bet. That's kind of my point.
No, I agree. All right, real quick, we got a couple minutes here. Morehead State, Auburn, 2 separate games, obviously. Let me get to my.
I'm not going against Auburn at home, so I'm looking at Auburn.
Austin P has been awful, but this Morehead State team that doesn't do well at covering. Let me see the splits here.
Like 8 on the road. It's a bit much for a road game for me.
Yeah, it really is. This is a Morehead State team that's just 1-3 on the highway. They beat IUPUI. Congratulations.
I like Auburn -7.5 against Florida, though.
I do like that. This Auburn team is surprisingly good. Um, yeah, too many points for me. I wouldn't be surprised. Morehead's the better team,
Yeah.
but I think that number's just a little bit strong.
This reminds me a lot of the game we saw yesterday between like Robert Morris and Cleveland State. And people just assume, oh, Cleveland State's, much better. Robert Morris is terrible. It's one thing to look dominant going into a game. It's another thing to look dominant on the road in a conference game. It's a different animal. Now, of course, Cleveland State won the game anyway. It was close. But when you start seeing teams that you're used to seeing that know a lot about you and you know a lot about them, you don't really want to lay that many points on the highway.
Fair enough. Elliot says Vegas Dave is on Georgia.
Oh, God.
I feel better now.
We got Vegas Dave against Mattress Mac. This is going to be a war of the ages right here.
I want to know how you know that. I want to know who got the Vegas Dave whale.
Did you pay for the 40,000 whale
There's
unit special?
No way. No way somebody that watches us and is smart enough to be here fucking gave $1,000 to Vegas Dave for his national championship pick.
You have a couple people who leak it online.
That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing somebody put it on Twitter. Absolutely. Yeah. I was one of them. Taking off Morehead State. Well, we'll see. Thank us.
You can do it if you want. I'm just saying, at first glance, I'm not thrilled laying 8 at the window on the road.
No, I know. And Austin Peay is just they're not good. I hate putting anything with Austin Peay, but I think for me, it's a pass.
It's also just one piece, just information when it comes to gambling on these games, or really any game in general. There's going to be people, talking heads like us, who like one side or the other, and we could persuade you one way or another. You can always do your own research too. It's not an end-all be-all if we disagree with you. Don't be afraid to put in some work.
I always encourage my viewers that do my daily videos to just use it as another tool in your toolkit, man. Just take it's like listening to talk radio. If there's something you listen to, if somebody's talking and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right, look it up, find out why it's wrong.
Don't get me wrong. If you like our points and if you agree with them, then that's fine. You could back us if you trust us. But in general, just because we like a side doesn't mean you should just quit doing all your research after you hear what we have to say.
Oh, God, no.
Investigate it. Game's on Monday. I doubt the line moves past 3. If you like Georgia, I actually would potentially grab it now because I do think that you'll see more money coming in on Georgia. You might get some public buyback, but you've seen a split line between 2.5 and 3. It's going to be very tough to get off 3.
I don't think it's going to 3.5. Is that what you're saying? You're saying
that's what I was saying.
So
I'm saying if you have time to think it over, but if you do like Georgia, I don't expect as many 2.5s by kickoff.
All right, very good. No, James is perfect. Says it's a last minute thing. You usually do my own research, and you guys are part of it. Perfect. That's exactly it.
Find a balance.
Yep. Because and I'll be honest with you, we did our bowl picks and everything. There was a lot of those games when it came game time. I played the other way than what I said in the video because something had changed. There'd been a line movement, there'd been an injury, there'd been a COVID, there'd been an opt out, whatever, weather situation. So there were some plays that I went the opposite direction of what I said 2 days earlier, and that's gonna happen, So, All right, buddy, got anything else?
Not really. I'm looking forward to a good game. I'm expecting it to be close. It's also wishful thinking. No offense to Bama and Saban. I know they're a great program. I kind of want to see somebody else win for once.
I agree, and I think a lot of people feel that way. But my only piece of advice would be don't let that play into your decision. Don't let what
it's not. I'm just stating I'm rooting.
I'm not necessarily talking to you. I'm just kind of talking in general to anybody that watches this video. I know there's a lot of hatred for Alabama out there. I probably lead that parade, but you can't let what you want to happen get involved with what you think is going to happen. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, guys. As always, thanks for checking us out here on our little special edition. And great bowl season. Scott had a good time. Looking forward to next year, of course. Looking forward to this game. Should be a lot of fun. Hey, good luck on all your plays, not only this weekend, but the whole week. Hope you guys go out there and cash some tickets. Scott and I will be here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, as once again, we will do our best to help you to head back to the window. Guys, have a great one.